Hi there artisans, welcome back to this channel. This is Rochelle Rosenberg.
So this is a candle stand from Store Factory Scandinavia. I am so proud of you to share the idea on how to DIY paint a boring candle stand.
Now is my time to shine.
So when I did this, I had the idea to actually paint all over the four sides of the candle stand, and my first idea in this first part is to actually just paint a lavender. And I've picked a lot of lavender on our area, so it's a good thing to have that in mind to get a live model. So I painted it and just sketched right through on the candle stand. So as you can see, here is the lavender as my modeling, and I just have to create like the way I see through in my vision. And in this candle stand, this is actually made in white cement, I think. So I just sketched through with a graphite pencil, and the idea is to just draw the lines and to just sketch it so that I could fill it in with colors later. It's very interesting whenever you are seeing things differently and you think that you probably have an idea of painting it over DIY. So it's one good thing to buy these kinds of decorations that are empty and easily to paint on. So I suggest you don't need to buy them actually expensive, but you can buy them probably in second hands. You can find them anywhere in your area. And right here you can see the way I use my colors. I just use the primary colors and mix them all by myself. So since this is a lavender color and it's violet, so my mixture is red, blue, and I mix it with a little bit of white, so it will become violet. And I start here with the stem. So since the stem is very thin, I have to start with the green stem and just a little bit of sample so I know how it will look like. And I am actually using a brush which is used in nail painting. So if you have been into nail painting, those are actually one of the greatest brush I've ever put my hand into. Very filled of detailing whenever you use that brush, and you don't need to buy so much expensive brushes if you don't have any money to buy it, and you will not actually go bankrupt. So let's continue. So I just did the first two lavender stems as a sample, and now I'm filling in all the stem details. It's just a line. So as you can see, when I use the detailing brush, it's just a pointed brush. I usually use this brush in writing my signatures on my paintings. But one good thing with this brush is you can actually use it in making a lot of lines and even making this kind of thin leaves. So its technique is very easy. You just have to press and then lift. Alright, and always remember to respect also the spaces in the flowers. So as you can see, I painted them not so close to each other, because the thing with the flowers is that when you are painting, there's big difference when you are painting and looking at the flower itself. Because when you look at the flower itself, you know exactly that your eyes see they are so close to each other. But whenever you're gonna paint them, you actually have to create these kinds of spaces so that your eyes will understand that the flower are close to each other, but still there's a space. It's not easy for me to explain it clearly, but I hope that you understand. Right. One good thing in respecting the spaces in between painting is to also create an ambience to the eyes, because our eyes can actually see that there's something wrong in a picture whenever there's no space. It's like there's something missing, but you cannot just explain it by words. Or sometimes if you are too much critic, you would say that it's ugly, you know, or like even if it's beautiful, there's still something wrong. Well, in art, I try not to be critic, or I try not to be harsh on myself, but sometimes I fall into that. Anyway, now I've done this leaf, so remember that the technique in doing the leaf is to use a detailed pencil like I used a while ago. It's like press and then lift, but you have to press it slowly and then lift. So now we're gonna fill in the blanks of the lavender flowers. So they're like this tiny oblong shaped, and the only thing that I did here is to actually just press side the pencil. So I'm holding the pencil like a little bit slightly on the side so that I could get the sides of the technique of the brush. Now it will create a little bit of kind of small oblong dots, you know. So that's the technique of that. So I think you have to try to do this, and if you want to do it step by step, you could actually get this video on my website. You can just grab it in a cheap price tutorial, and you are so much welcome to try it yourself. I can provide you the images that you can actually use for free, no problem. Just give the image credit to me because I took them. All right, let's continue painting, right? So now I'm almost done with this lavender side of the candle stand. and I just have to write joy in it, because my idea is to write a little bit of text on the side of the candle stand, and it should be joy, because I like the idea of the lavender. It gives me joy whenever I smell it. It's like, it gives me calmness, you know. The smell is so soothing, so minty, and that's the thing. Now for the next idea of the painting is to actually have a couple on the side of the hill, and it's a sunset, so there's like a little bit of water on the side, and I would like to give you the idea on how we should start. So this is the main theme. Again, I already had like drawn the sketch with a tree and then a couple on it, so we're just gonna begin with the acrylic colors. And what I'm doing here is to actually make them like a color or like a watercolor texture. So I have a lot of water in it, and I'm just spreading the orange color all over. So the orange color is a mixture of yellow and red, just a little bit of red, so it will actually reflect on the surface of the candle stand. So now I am using again the angled brush and covering it with a little bit of blue, just to show the shades of the sky. And since it's very wet, so I know that I have to wait until it dries. So never ever work on your watercolor or on your canvas or in any kind of surface whenever you have applied a medium and it's still wet. You have to wait, because if you don't wait, it will be mushy. So now I'm just putting in, like, clarifying the lines with this detailing brush, and the color is kind of brown. So I created the brown with red, yellow, blue. When you mix the yellow and blue, you will have green, and then mix it with a little bit of red, it will become violet. But if you mix with a little bit more of the yellow side, you will have a mushy color, and it will become a little bit of brown. So I think that my surface was still a little bit of wet, but I have to go through on other sorts of details. And I flip down I flip upside down the candle stand, and I'm starting with the tree. So never ever start to draw your tree from the top of the tree down to the roots, because if you do that, you will have a different sort of tree. And I've never seen a tree where it's so thick on the upwards and thin downwards. I think that tree must be sick. But anyway, I try to do it this way, so it's easier for me to draw the angle of the tree and to also navigate with my eyes. And as you can see, I'm using again a detailing brush, and this brush is for nail. Anyway, you can buy these brushes actually in a link that I will share down in the description, or you can also buy in Wish if you'd like to wait so long. If you want to wait so long, then buy there, but otherwise you can buy these kinds of qualities like in the description box that I'm gonna provide down where in the description. I think I've repeated a lot of the words that I've said, but I'm just so sorry. Please forgive me. Now we're creating the hills, and I want this to have a basic color of green because it's grass, and creating a little bit of shadows here and there. So this is very interesting with this brush because it's easy to wash, it's easy to use, and perfect for all sorts of detailing. Now we've finished this side of the candle stand, and it looks so beautiful to me. I am satisfied with it. Now I just want to write love. I am not yet so perfect in writing on surface, but on paper actually I could do it. So this is also like a sort of practice to me whenever I'm writing on any sorts of surfaces and materials. Now the next idea is a plant that has already started to grow its roots. And I'm using my angled brush from Graduate, and you can see right there it's a size. And the angled brush is actually perfect whenever you want to create some sort of kinds of leaves and or creating some kind of heart shape, you know. And the angled brush is very perfect in making lines as well, or even in portrait painting. I use this a lot because it saves a lot of my time in using just one brush in many sorts of techniques and detailing. So this is the technique that I'm doing again. It's like twist a little the brush, and you will actually get the effect of the leaf. So it's also perfect in creating flowers. So painting is actually takes a lot of doing all the time, doing separate all the time, and it's practice, which will give you a lot of learning and confidence into yourself, so that you will actually master it through the years. Art doesn't need to be so perfect, but if you aim perfection, then you will have a problem, because if you aim that, there's no such thing to perfect your artwork all the time. But if you aim beauty, and if you aim like just introducing this kind of different forms in your art, then it will give you a lot of learning and development through the years. So now I have almost finished this side as well of the candle stand, and I would like to write here peace. Can follow it step by step if you'd like, you know. And as you can see, using the angle brush is such a life-saving in art, filled of precision and detailing. And actually it taught me a lot on how I would hold the brush. Through the years, I've learned how to observe flowers and just to create them the way I see them and not to make it too complicated. By dots and by forms, you can actually create them. So the idea also of this flower is the representation of me and my children. So that's why I formed them like having the same stem, and then we got lots of how do you say, we got lots of grasses around us, and then the formation is like a triangle because that's how I wanted it to be. It looks a little bit more pleasant to my eyes whenever you see like this kind of hidden shapes. Now, to make it more lively, we have to create the backgrounds of the green grass that are like a little bit more faded in the images, so that to show in the eyes that there's more things to see in the back of the flower. And this is actually called, I think I would probably write here hope, because I have the hope for the future now. Now we almost reached the end of this video, and I hope that you have learned from here. And if you liked it, please like and subscribe or share it to your friends, and let's paint on again. See you again on the next art.
Shadows overnight, and after them you shine bright. Cause inside your head, on goes the light. Ignite, clever intuition upon the stars in the night that glisten. To you they listen, to be you instead of wishing. Listen, do your own math and learn from the stuff that you are missing. Create your own path with your own vision.